Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Warsaw, Poland for the Wargaming.net League Grand Finals. My name is Mitch Leslie, if you haven't already had the chance to say hello, and we are quite knee-deep in our first group stage of the day. So as they say back home, let's see what the GO is. So as we can see throughout the bracket here, so far so good for Simp. They fought their way through with a bit of a cliffhanger over the Lemming train, but they brought it back, and they will be in the decider match of the group. Now we're looking towards our lower bracket here, and it's not a loser's bracket, it's a lower bracket because we have two big winners going head-to-head to try and make their way into that deciding match. We, of course, Synergy going up against Lemming Train in a rematch of the first game of the day, which was, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, quite an exciting one to see. So we're going to go back for a little bit of a recap. We're going to check in with our experts as well, and they're going to give us the lowdown, I guess, on where we sit so far. Clutch, you know what to do.
Thank you, Uber. Joined once again by Blue Boys captain from Simp, who's going to be joining us for the match and taking some very intricate notes as they're going to get ready to face the winners of this series, and joined by Wilkie and Mr. Mojo. Gentlemen, rematch. Differences I think we're going to see in the map choices, but first of all, we have to look at the teams individually once again. Let's first look at Lemming Train. This is a team that is the hometown heroes for Poland. They've performed on the match space so far in the main room, out of most teams today so far. Let's talk about accuracy. On their stats, accuracy is a little bit low. Are we seeing this accurately in the series so far?
Yeah, so far we have seen they are missing a lot of shots, a lot of important shots, like against Simp. In the last game, Alien missed a whole clip of the 1390 in lane 2 in Prokhorovka. That was like whole clip going to
all
nothing.
6 shots,
yeah,
gone.
all 6
no
shots,
damage.
Nothing. And that's just one example. It has been going on all the time.
I think the even worst example would be the Sand River, when those Persians were shooting the tanks in Brawl and they were bouncing, missing. Nothing happened. They were just dying.
You favored those bounces, though. I'm sure you were smiling a bit when that was happening.
I should have died. Should have died that battle on Sand River. Definitely should have happened.
Well, let's take a look at one of the players. Poto Mako is one of the all-stars, obviously, on the team. Kill-death ratio, 3.36. Not bad. 21,000 personal battles. How does this guy perform when it comes to his team? Where do we see him shine the most?
Potomako is a flanker and a sniper, damage dealer. He's one of their core players now. He came from EPS previously. And you can call him, like, if Alien is a scout, he's the guy that will utilize the scouting with shooting. Also, they have a good tandem, especially on maps like Prokhorovka. Like, if their cap is being pressured, one guy will pick, other guy will shoot from other part of the map unspotted.
Well, let's look at Synergy real quickly, guys. This is a team, again, going back against the grain of Lemming Train, and their accuracy is almost off the charts. And this is the main difference that they have between the two teams. Overall rating, highly favored compared to the wildcard Lemming Train, the second seed in Europe, representing a lot of the Ukrainians that are playing on this team. And highlighting Stalker. This is a guy that is continually in the T1, correct?
Yeah, dedicated T1. As soon as she has had some hard time in the tournament, I'm sure that Stalkers wants to prove that they are better than the last matches have shown. So it will come down to Stalker, as he's the caller, the tactician of the team. So it's all about Stalker.
Do you think we could see a Stalker attack being formed here compared to the Mac attack?
I don't know how people play with their T1s on the EU and RU server, but Mac Attack is surely our NA secret.
And that card was played, and as we've seen so far, it's worked in Sim's favor. But we talked a lot about the T1s at the beginning of the broadcast today. How do you factor a T1 on a lot of your plays? Let's say on Himmelsdorf. How do the T1s communicate to you and where to go and what to do?
The T1s are key on any map where there's hard corners, and that is all about city maps. You can't push around a corner with all 5 tanks and expect to win if you don't know what's around the corner you're going to. So it's all about the T1s. The T1s find where they are, so you know where you can push.
Especially those corners we talked about earlier, gentlemen. Himmelsdorf being one of those corner maps. Haven't seen it played yet, though. Have you been able to practice at all on the winter style of Himmelsdorf?
All the time.
On Himmelsdorf on ice, as people call it?
As soon as they were told us Winter's Himmels, we were just like, well, let's just switch from Himmels to Winter. Should be simple, and it's actually a little different. Just a little.
Yeah, there are more bushes in the middle.
I would like to add one thing. Like, if you check stats of Stalker, from random games. You can see that he actually can play any tank he can choose. He's capable. He chose to play a tier 1 because it fits his role. He has a better bird view of their team, of his team, because he's not 100% focusing on hitting every shot. He can do the scouting, he can tell them where to go, and that's a choice. Same thing is like in Navi. You have Eclipse, you have Deluxe, you have guys that can play anything, but they play it by choice, and they're best in that because of that.
Ruinberg and Steps are the map vetoes. One more to go. Prohorovka is a veto. Guess what, gentlemen? We're going to see some Himmelsdorf, I believe.
And Cliff.
And
I've been waiting for Cliff.
I'm
Cliff.
waiting for that.
Now we need to find out which map is going to be third, second, and then first. Himmelsdorf will be the third map.
And still no Steps.
Still no Steps. I don't think we're going to see any Steps maybe until the best of 5.
Steps is definitely going to be high on the ban list.
Yeah.
It's a lot. At least us in particular, we feel it's very draw. And if you pick Steps, you're saying I want to draw.
There is
Just like
high
I say-
possibility we won't see it even until finals. It's not unheard of.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, we've seen teams, Fnatic would like to use Steps because they have a specific strategy for it, but I classify Steps as the draw map when it came to the pools. If you want to win veto draw, you choose Steps, you hang back in the rocks. If you're to the south, the north, you try to use that valley, but it's changed, however.
We had Abby before. Abby was in that role. Everyone was avoiding it because it's a treacherous map and you can easily oversight something and lose.
Yeah,
So people
definitely
were
can.
avoiding.
Fast flag caps on Abby we've seen in North America, and that's been quite
Some
a surprise.
people call it cheesy.
Cliff's second map choice, mine's first map choice, choosing positions right now for the home and away team as our ref is calculating. There's a handshake, and now team leaders will be heading to their booths. We'll be ready for this match in just a little bit, fellas. Oh, man, Synergy versus Lemming Train. I feel like it's deja vu all over again, but when you look at their first map that they chose, Ensk, 3 5100s and 2 IS3s and 2 T1s on both sides. Classic lineup. You look at some of the variances, sometimes 2 5100s compared to the 3 IS3s. You gentlemen got to watch a little bit of what Top Tier is bringing to North America with the crazy types of tank lineups. That's not your style.
No, sir.
The style of Simp, if in so many words, how would you describe it to any foreign fans that seen you guys for the first time?
Well, like Mac loves to point out, reactive is our play style, and reactive is where we win. And we will play to that.
Did you guys feel that you were a little bit too reactive maybe to Lemming Train, that you thought they'd be a little bit more aggressive, at least on mines, positionally?
On mines, they brought the 69, and we thought they were going to do something with that, and they just used it as a position controller. And the 1390s were just following our 90s around, unspotted, and we just found that it was a little bit tough to advance into something we didn't find.
Well, now we're going to finally see some Cliff action.
Finally.
Finally. And this was introduced, at least for the American League, on Season 2. And before that, in Season 1, it was Airfield that we had.
We don't talk about it.
We don't talk about Airfield. It's like Fight Club. We don't talk about Fight Club. Cliff, I feel, is a much better map choice compared to Airfield. And of course, I think a lot of people would agree with me. Why is it that you would favor the south side on Cliff or the north side on Cliff? What are the side advantages to that map, and what could we see here from one of these teams?
The north side, you kind of have to commit to one side or the other, and you have to take a position, a certain kind of position, based on what you want to do with the side you're on. And from the north, there's the west side play, take the hill, and then there's the east where you take position. And it's really hard to push the east effectively unless you know they have a tank out of the fight, because there's those buildings they can hide their medium tanks behind, or there's the hills in the west that they can hide 90s to just poke out, shoot, maybe take a hit for the 69s that they have in the mid, and then pull back so you can't finish the damage tank off.
I feel that the blind picks are quite intriguing too for a map like Cliff. Usually we'll see, T69, sometimes the Pershings of the swifter movement for some of the tanks. A couple times see some T32s, but those 1390s always prove to be pretty much the linchpin in so many firefights, at least for North America. Is that the same for Europe?
Yeah, most of the teams are playing couple or 3 1390s, couple T69s and a Pershing. So now that there are blind picks, the T69 is a bit unsafe pick, but we shall see what happens.
Well, and you brought up the nerf, Mr. Mojo, earlier of the heat, how it used to be something pen, and they got reduced by 50.
Yeah, it used to be 300, now it's 250. Accuracy is even lower now, so it makes a big problem. But I never ever saw T32 used on Cliff because it's too slow tank and it can be flanked really easily. everyone here who will play it will try to get progressive positions from where he can cut off other team and make advantage in tactical way.
Yeah. On the second map, it was a draw. The victory going to Lemming, getting that last shot in against Synergy on Ents, and the draw was on Prokhorovka. It was a draw for you gentlemen as well, and we've actually seen a lot of changes of the choices made on Prokhorovka when we took out the 8-point rule in Season 2. It was actually a lot faster firefighting happening, and now it's kind of scaled back a little bit where some of the favors of some people are favoring more of the T-32s and the Pershings. Do you gentlemen feel that there's an evolution to this meta, that we're actually going to see kind of more of the lighter tanks being used? Or is it always a decision being made of, if you have the defensive advantage, if you have the draw advantage for the win, you're going to choose those larger tanks, sometimes even a tank destroyer?
Yeah, and the blind picks. That's
Oh, yeah.
The
that's
blind
a
picks
really
are the
big.
core.
Yeah,
I think the blind picks are a core issue in this, definitely. Because if you don't know what the other team is picking, and then you end up like on mines, while they're having heavy tanks, other time having light tanks, Lemming Train was not even in position to push.
Yeah. And they couldn't. They couldn't. I was simply waiting for these teams to be ready. They're currently setting up all the different settings here. What is it like with that crowd out there, Blue Boys Captain? It was a little bit daunting for you guys. I mean, you've played in front of crowds before.
Yes, sir. The first three seasons have definitely hardened us against the crowd. I personally did not notice a single person out there. It was all the game.
That focus. That focus. All right, well, just a couple minutes here, folks. We'll toss it over to commentators when the players are ready. The blind picks, as you gentlemen said, I think is such an intriguing factor for the type of play that we'll see from these different players, and with the maps that are being chosen. I believe the commentators are ready. I believe the map is ready. So let's throw it over to our commentators.
Thank you so much, Clutch. It was great hearing from a member of the team there, actually, who did just pull off something phenomenal on a map that both of these teams have now experienced to its full effect, whether in the good side or the bad. And well, it's Lemming Train up against Synergy again. We've had the pleasure of casting it once. We're going to get to do it twice. So, but this time, one of these two teams will be going home.
Yeah, this is really do or die at this point in time. Losers bracket is really where you have to make sure you don't make any mistakes. But quickly going through the maps, we've got Mines coming up first, and we followed by Cliff, and if we get to it, Himmelsdorf will be the last one. Obviously, Ents being banned out.
To no surprise there.
To no surprise, yeah, Synergy banning that one out. They don't want to play Lemming Train against, who, to be honest, just completely destroyed them on that one.
Yeah.
Prokhorov was not going to be played, maybe not a surprise either. Again, Synergy struggling on that, and we're having a completely different set of maps this time. Obviously, we might be able to see Himmelsdorf first, or we'll see Himmelsdorf for the first time even.
Yes.
And obviously Cliff as we head into this first map, which will be Mines.
So, as you said, do or die time. Lemming Train, the home team, facing up against Synergy. Old rivals going head-to-head here, so we are going to be going straight into the action. Take a little kind of look towards those tank picks. What have we got here?
A bit of a strange pick from the side of Lemming Train. Okay, they got a 5100. That's what makes it a little bit strange. They got a couple of T32, a T69, double AMX 3090, double T1. As Synergy, they got T32, T69, triple AMX 3090, double T1. So a little bit quicker, but that's to be expected because they can get the tanks up the hill. Obviously,
Yes.
the two AMX 3090s in the best spawn will be going up the hill first. Armley didn't get away scot-free to take about, let's say, 40% damage there. Arclet's going to be trying as well. Near Pizzoni receive a little bit of damage in that T69, but T69 has a decent amount of HP, so don't have to worry too much. Stalker now let's get taken down. So first blood going to Lemming Train.
Yeah, it's a great start from the Polish team here. The crowd got a little bit loud, and actually Applewell gets caught in the heels. Just about catching him again as well. Applewell, he's not having the best game so far. He's been struggling in the last couple. He's been constantly picked and found, and maybe he's having flashbacks of when he tried to shoot down Alien, who just escaped through the shells landing right next to him. But as you mentioned, would you say Synergy are in the better position here as they do have that high ground?
Yeah, they are in the better position. They've taken a little bit of damage, which is never good. But to get the hill, you can expect to take some damage. From the south, getting to hill takes a little bit longer. It's only about 3 to 5 seconds, but that's long.
enough.
That's enough. That's enough for the north to get on the hill. and that's why it's favored. Obviously, artillery's not used anymore, so the Bison can't counter that. So it's very hard from the south to play. Obviously, Lemming Trainers picked that 5100. I wouldn't be surprised if they're using the 90mm on the 5100 for the quicker reload. That's why Armley took so much damage at the beginning, and that's why at the moment Lemming Train winning in that respect. But we can see what's happening. Arclit's now made his way on the hill with that T32, so a nice little move from there. That means they can use the gun depression of the T32 just to aim down and get that real damage on to the side of Lemming Train, especially because they're all over towards the Lighthouse Island, which does give them the option to flank around. But the thing is, Synergy just have to hit those shots as they go through the cover, make sure that they can get the damage onto them. And Armley's going to get himself up to a nice position in A4. He can just shoot out in case anything from Lemming Train does go up the hill. But it doesn't actually look like Lemming Train really want to push forward. Butcher taking a little bit of damage. Yeah, Lemming Train don't want to push forwards because they are under pressure from Synergy at this point in time. They don't want to make any mistakes. Alien taking a big chunk of damage there. And so far, it looks like Synergy are working their way back into this game.
Yeah, and you've got to say, Lemming Train, great team, but you don't want to give Synergy a chance to land shots on you. You don't want to make it any easier for these guys. They're known for how efficient they can be when they're on absolute point. And they are moving around a little bit, so we could be expecting some move coming from Lemming Train. But for now, you don't want to give them an easy path. You give them an inch, they will take a mile. These guys are phenomenal at landing these shots, but so far they have been outplayed by Lemming Train. But this is a new map. After a lot of games, they've warmed up finally. You could look at it that way. It was a bit of a stale start for both of them, but now they're in the mix. And what do you think we're going to see here? Because they are moving around.
Well, Lemming Train just couldn't attack over the island. Everyone knew that. They definitely couldn't do that. It was just for the initial bit of damage, so they have to come off that and come from a different angle. That does look like towards the hill. Arclight taking a little bit of damage. They're pushing on.
Yeah, Butcher trying to ignore one. Pushes around with materials, focusing down towards Arclit. He's backing away. Shanish not able to do much there. Arclit teasing back for more. Back and forth we go, but no one really coming away too badly. Butcher's probably fairly low right now, so he's going to have to back away. And we are see finally the push coming in towards that hill. Arclit just about alive. Goes down. Good start for Lemming Train now as the push continues. Povel may be in trouble, but Alien's held in place by Applewell. They're not having to clean route through here, and they're getting battered and broken, but they're not going down as Povel tries to escape, just about making it down the hill. But the action continues. Butcher finds him, but Butcher's taken out as well. And it's a back and forth, and both teams are so low, and Polo Mako wanted that kill.
Potomac is going to try and chase on, but I believe he's only got one shell left, which is not going to be enough. A couple of tier 1 shots coming out, trying to land. That's from the 20mm Hispano Positive, trying to work his way around. And at the moment, it's pretty even Stevens. Both teams have lost one tier 8 tank. Both teams have taken a fair bit of damage. Materius is going to have to play this perfectly in that T32 because Arclit is down for the side of Synergy. And to be honest, I think Lemming Train have that advantage from the T32, but Synergy don't care.
Yeah, Synergy going back in for more. They were not happy with the first taste of the action. They clear one another bite of that cherry, so Applewell coming round, takes a shot, goes back again. Materia so damn low, gets taken down. Applewell too damn good to miss a shot like that. And now Povel splitting around as well. He's going to be trying to find some more targets. And here's Pizzorni not too far away either, so certainly a possibility here. Lemming Train could be in trouble.
Lemming Train really on the back foot right now. Protomako is going to try and do some damage, but Nia Pizzorni caught in the open.
Nias Pizzorni is going to be taken solo here. There's no other way to put it. He does get at least one shell connected, but still, he's down to 231 HP. That is not a lot to work with. He's got Carmen to the left in the tier 1, not exactly going to save you from anything. And you've got the likes of Povel and Applewell dying to get a glimpse of you. And it doesn't look too bad for Lemming Train, but you've got to keep in mind that Carmen's a tier 1, Snip's a tier 1, and these guys can't do too much against these big tanks. We've seen the occasional thing, but right now, this is going to be a hard game, and ooh, there we go. There's another kill coming in for Synergy. And Shanish did manage to take down Carmen there, so it's not looking too good for the Polish hometown right now.
Potomac is trying to land a couple of shells. He's got to be careful. I mean, he's playing it absolutely perfectly. He managed to avoid that damage. Positive there in the reply. Indeed.
Now, just Polomako really standing in a tank that could do anything. He's now surrounded by them. A nice shot from Povel comes flying through. As now just Snip alive. He's running for his dear life, and let's bear in mind, we're playing this by different rules. If you're from the WGLAU region, that tier point is not to be found. If he can stay alive and maybe stop the cap or do something phenomenal, then he can do it. But with that many tanks against him, with the cap circle right next to them, I think we know the result here.
Yeah, I think Synergy is going to be able to walk away with this one. And by the skin of their teeth, I guess. Okay, Shani, she's still got a bit of HP, but at the end of the day, it was neck and neck. And at one point, Lemming Train were winning, but then they retreated. And what Synergy did fantastically was react, push forwards, use those AMX-39s to push over the hill and get the damage down. And a couple of misses, again, from Lemming Train definitely didn't help the HP race, which in the end didn't make a huge amount of difference. And some very lucky play for Lemming Train. It should have actually ended earlier. The MX-39 of Potomaco definitely should have gone down. The Pizzoni managing to avoid so much damage there as the red base does get captured. 1-0 Synergy.
Yeah, Synergy now with the advantage going forward, picking up the victory in the first game. So well played to them. You know, we can't, you know, it wasn't the most thrilling of games, especially from their point of view, but they stepped up and they did the job. It's not, you know, clean, it's not pretty right now, but they're doing what they have to. And after the last couple of games, it may be scrappy, but they need to get these points on the board, essentially. And we're finally seeing maybe a little bit of a wake-up from Applewell as well. He finally looked like he was actually in the game. He's been kind of absent at this point, and we've been singing this guy's praises, but he's only finally kind of stepped up to my eyes. But looking at Lemming Train, they don't look like they're mentally ready for this. They look pretty down and out.
They look pretty defeated on that map.
Yeah.
You know, they're a team that has to be careful when they push forwards because they have been known to make mistakes when pushing forwards. And I don't think that was a mistake on their part. I think it's just the idea was good and the execution for the first, let's say, 30 seconds to a minute was bang on. But once they had that hill and they had the advantage, they definitely started to give it away. Potomac jumped off the hill, and at the end of the day, giving away the higher ground lost it for them. And Shanish, you know, 2.3k from that T69 really did do some fantastic work there. 4 frags in the bag for him. We'll be moving on to our next map, which will be Cliff. Both teams obviously haven't played this map yet, and I think they really want to be bringing out some new tactics. Obviously, you don't want to give too much away because both these obviously still in the running. So it'll be really interesting. Is that 1-2 line push going to come through, or is it going to be more about the just going up the road like normal and heading towards that below the hill area?
And the thing I want to also bring to the plate is, excuse me, you know, obviously these teams know each other very well. They played through the entire European season, playing against each other, playing teams who, you know, vice versa have done the same. But Cliff was not in the map pool. So they don't know them to the extent they may understand them on, let's say, your Mind, your, you know, Himmelsdorf. They know these guys intimately on those maps near on. They know exactly how they play it. But you go into a map that they may not play every single week, week in, week out. We might see one team being, you know, going back down to the basics. You know, when you're on a new map that you may not know as well as an esports team, you boil down to your pure talent and your pure skill. You may argue that Synergy might be a better team in that aspect. They've got players who are phenomenal individual, you know, people. But, you know, Lemming Train, you can't take it away from them. They're still phenomenal, but they don't have that one-man band, that one guy who can make the odds. Whereas, you know, you've got the Shanish in there who got 4. You've got, you know, Applewell who can set these scenes up. It may come down to that, and I'm kind of curious to see why Lemming Train went for this. They've clearly been working on stuff. We said it before in the interviews with them, but it's hard to predict with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, prediction play is important, and it's hard to really guess what a team wants to do because it's for the first, let's say, I don't know, a couple of minutes, you get to your initial positions and that's pretty much set in stone as a tactic, as a counter tactic before you actually join the battle. That's to do with, you know, the tanks you pick, the team you're playing, what you've done in practice, what you've done in scrims, and, you know, the general tactics you do just in terms of the theory crafting. So that's just the first 2-3 minutes. What you do after that is all reactive. So you see what the other enemy team's doing. You really push forwards if they're going retreating, and if they got tanks in the wrong position. You know, if they got a tank out of place, are your T1s in a good position to cap? For instance, on Mines, you know, Snip and Carmen being alive there was pretty useless. They were there to spot out tanks on the hill, Applewell and Arclit, and it didn't work for that long. And after, let's say, I don't know, 5 minutes mark, you should really, you know, push around towards the base and just try and give your actual damage-dealing tanks a little bit of respite by pushing in the cap, because that will force, you know, Synergy to come back around with, like, let's say, a T69. That will reduce the amount of damage they can put out and reduce the amount of damage you have to do. And also, you could win by cap if they don't decide to make that push towards the cap, as we just set up for our next map. It will be Cliff, so a map we haven't seen before. Obviously, a map that's highly favoured. But by a lot of the regions. It's not played in the European region this season,
But you never know.
But you never know. It was just added to the Go format, also. It's definitely
something to keep your eyes on.
Teams are pretty experienced, regardless if they're Russian or North American or European or Korean or Asian. It just doesn't matter. But still, very interesting stuff could be seen on this map. As I said before, will be looking for that 1-2 line push. As you can see, pushing up the hill towards that middle stone area. That will be the most interesting thing, and if they can execute that perfectly, I think it's very hard to lose.
Well, ladies and gents, this is what it comes down to. Lemming Train against Synergy in the second map. It's gonna be Cliff, and let's once again remind ourselves, right now, Synergy have the advantage. Lemming Train cannot go for the draw here. They have to go for the victory. It's do or die. They could go out on this very map, and no one wants to see it. We want to see this go all the way, but what are we seeing so far? And did any of those tank picks really stand out to you at all?
No, they're pretty standard. The 416 is a little bit interesting because the gun pressure is not particularly great, and obviously 75 degrees traverse either side is also pretty bad. But no, the interesting thing is the 1-2 line push did not happen from either team. It usually happens south. Lemming Train didn't go for it. They went for the standard tactic pushing over with Potomac and the AMX 3090, Materius, Neopazoni and Butcher in support with the real damage dealing tanks. Apwao up there trying to do some damage and a bit of crossfire going through.
Yeah, they're toying with each other, but at the moment, Lemming Train doesn't look like they're stopping. They are going aggressive, and Materius is pushing forward. He was caught there, but does manage to stay up fairly healthy. Butcher's down. Butcher's got a bit of damage. Butcher's going low. Butcher's down to 500. Make it 275. Butcher has been decimated already, and that's not a good start for Lemming Train.
It's certainly not. The T69 has got to be careful. Apwao could be in trouble.
Yeah, Apwao having to run the hell away. He's got Alien chasing him down right now. We know this happened before. Last time around, Alien managed to survive, and Apwao seems to have just about escaped. But what a crazy event to start with here. This is an unbelievable beginning from Lemming Train, just going absolutely aggressive.
And they have the better position for it, okay? They don't have a tier 8 tank. Pershing is not a massive damage dealer. The reload's okay, the damage is okay, but you know, you want to be a T69 and AMX 3090 for that situation. Also, Apwao out of the equation coming around, but Elian, he took so much damage, and that could really swing the favor towards Synergy, but Synergy a little bit on the back foot. Apwao he's going to come around, make sure he doesn't get taken down by Materius. I think for the MX 3090, the best thing for Lemming Train to do is push up the hill, get the spots off. If they can do some damage behind some bushes, that would be fantastic. Really push the HP back in their favor. But Synergy has to really recoup, get themselves ready to push in, make sure they don't give away too much damage, and make sure they don't take too many shots in the process of doing so. Obviously, as you can see on the screen, Positive, the tier 1 player, needs to make sure that he's getting the spots out for the rest of his team.
He certainly has to, and well, you know, Synergy, they can play calmer, they can play carefully here to an extent. But after Lemming Train looking like they want to do damage straight away, it's hard to see how they're going to have to be able to do that without any trouble. So, bit of a defensive line from Synergy near on. It's literally clear across the map at the moment. We are seeing Positive moving up with Apwao, so they're going to be joining each other. But as we mentioned, Alien solo 144 HP, oof. Apwao 178 HP. So both of them. It's been almost like a grudge match between those two already. So what are we seeing from this? What is this movement meaning? Why is Potomaco going on this long road around? What can we expect from this position coming up?
He's playing it perfectly because he's expecting Pavel to push around the side with Apwao, which is exactly what's happening. Also, Lemming Train have got a tier 1 over towards the right side, which will be able to spot out. It's definitely going to have binocular telescopes, that 25% extra view range, which won't bring it up to more than 300, but it's still decent enough, especially behind the bush. So having that Potomaco in the full HP MX 3090 in a good position will be able to do a lot of damage against pushing tanks. But also, you can see Synergy starting to not push there, so maybe they're not going to go for the same move we thought they would do. Potomaco instead deciding to push up the hill, which I think is a really, really good idea. It's pretty hard to get out there, and it will take a while. But we've seen it from the likes of Sim. The way they beat Fnatic on this map in the last game was actually pushing up the hill and getting that real oversight on the map. And that will negate a little bit of that tier 8 disadvantage that at the moment Lemming Train do has. Obviously, the rule isn't, there's no tier point rule here. So, you still have to be able to destroy all those tanks. But again, at the moment, Minds went towards Synergy. That means they're in the driving seat. All they have to do is draw this map for them to take it out. But Potomaco is going to make that difficult.
Yeah, and let's bear in mind though, Armley has got a bit of damage. Pavel's been hit up as well. Apwao still low. The shots are going back and forth. Lemming Train are working this down, and Alien is one of those players doing it. Out of the 9 shots he's taken, now 10, he hit about 6 of those, so he's still hitting fairly well. We were already saying that They were struggling to land those shots. They've stepped up clearly quite a bit here, but you can see there's a little bit of danger. They can't outstay their welcome at the moment. Those shells are landing damn close, and at the end of the day, we've got 5 minutes to see what Lemming Train can work out here. It's all down to knowledge. It's all down to where they're going to find it. And Podomako, he's in a great spot, but can he find a play from this? They're going to have to make it soon.
He has to get in a position where he can shoot Povel or Armely and not get shot by either of them. So if he gets shot by Armely or Povel, that's fine. But if he gets shot by both, that really isn't good because of the HP he has. He also has that bush towards the left. It will provide a decent 30-40% camo value to him, so he can get the shots out. But the question is, does he have the view range to do so? I'm not so sure. The MX-1390 has got great view range, especially the Code Optics. It will be pushing that real hard cap of view range, about 425 meters or so. Arclit, he's the interesting the player for Synergy, though. What has he really achieved in this game so far? Because he is the dangerous tank in terms of the damage he can do. The reload is phenomenal on that 416. The damage is phenomenal, 320 from the M63. But Carmen and Snip are deciding to make a play, which is what they didn't do on mines with those tier 1s, and they're definitely going to be rectifying that mistake if they can.
Let's find out if they can. Stalker is not far away, so it's almost captain v captain in that essence. If you look at Carmen in the same aspect, Stalker is waiting this one out. And I'm kind of curious to see how this one goes. Obviously, the spots are happening. Those players have been noted. Carmen and Snip both been spotted. Fire does come through, so bit of a back and forth. Armely receives a big chunk of damage. Well played from Podomako. Oh, wow! Armely is down and out. And can you believe it? Lemming Train, they brought it back all even, but the move has to still happen here.
Arclate's going to try and push around. Armely being taken down and Pershing is definitely not good. Materius dodging a little shot there. He's Shannon's all going to try and connect, but they're only small rocks, so they won't be able to cover for long.
Yeah, indeed, the fire is coming in thick and fast, and Povel's low, Povel's down, and now Applewell is the next real low member. Alien staying alive. He's playing safe, he's playing smart, and I've got to say, Lemming Train, they're pulling this one back.
They certainly are. Materius is going to be on reload. Nia Pazzoni is also on reload. Snip and Carmen putting that little bit of pressure on, which at the moment Synergy certainly do not need. 2 tier 8 tanks now down. At the moment, Lemming Train amazingly back into the game. Stalker, though, beautiful little shot there. Snip trying to get the reply, but I don't think he'll manage to take it down. But in the meantime, Synergy slowly getting worked out as they push around, trying to get the rotate on, but not quite doing it. Arclit going down.
Yeah, indeed. It's a back and forth game here. Synergy are in trouble. This looks like it could be going to a third. So right now, Alien, here's Pazzoni, Materius, Podomako with it all to do. Shanish and Applewell standing in their way. And Alien, he looks like he wants to go here. He looks like he wants to get involved. Applewell, 178 HP. One more shell. And he's got 3 players staring him down. Oh, just about staying alive. Every single shell is so damn close. And now Materius is moving in. He's found one. Applewell now pretty much the last man alive who could do anything in this situation. But he doesn't really have the opportunity to do it here because he's being closed in.
Well, he only has 1 shell left, so he doesn't have enough damage just to do it. And he will get taken down, leaving only positive left in that tier 1. So he's on the other side of the map, so it does look like Lemming Train will be bringing this scoreline back to 1-1. Which means, well, it could either go to a tiebreak or the other team will just win one of these maps. But what fantastic play from Lemming Train. Honestly, unbelievable play. They're getting a real knack for bringing games back because they seem to win lots of games where they're 1 tier 8 tank down, which it doesn't happen that often. It does happen occasionally, but it's almost unbelievable how much it happens with Lemming Train, and that shows how tactical they can be and how reactive they can be. And when they're given enough time, which Synergy was giving them, then they can do beautifully.
Yeah, so ladies and gents, there's the Capture Polish team. They're back in the game. It is all even. It's all tied up now. And Carmen looks relieved more than anything. Congratulations to him, but that is a big bit of weight off their shoulders now. They were down, they were out. They lost the first game quite drastically as well. It was not a pretty sight. But on that second map, they found their footing. And there's Stalker being Stalker. The slam of the hand on the desk. Not looking too pleased. And really, it's time for them to really put themselves under that microscope and work things out. Give it up to the audience. They've been amazing today, to be fair. I do love doing any sort of esports event in Poland. It's always incredible working with these guys. And their hometown team is doing them proud at the moment. They're stepping up to the plate, but they're going to have to go even further now because you look at the opponents, you look at Synergy. They look so focused now. They don't look a happy focus, but they look focused. You know, you've got these players barely talking, which is a worrying sight. Normally a Stalker barking out commands, but these guys look quite quiet over there.
I would be pretty focused, to be honest, as well. I mean, they're one map away from just bombing out of this tournament. A team, as we've said before, that really was one of the favourites going forwards, and a team that was definitely can contend against, the likes of Na'Vi. If you remember back to Eurosteel 2013, they actually ended up topping that group, beating Na'Vi there as well, and only getting beaten by Virtus Pro. So they are really a very, very good team indeed. As we're heading on to Himmelsdorf, our last map, but you can't have players like Armely and Arclit doing 300 damage, 260 damage like last time, and not realizing the fact that if the other team has the higher ground and you're sitting behind a tiny little rock, he's still going to be able to shoot you over the rock. He's like 300 meters up. So, this is the kind of things you need to be thinking of. And okay, maybe you can't go to the normal position where you're comfortable, but just try something new. Come up that 1-2 line. And Synergy's normal tactical gameplay just seems to be broken down at this point. And despite...
Batman is in the audience. Sorry, I had to point it out.
He's always got this Batman mask on.
Don't be jealous, man. Don't be jealous. We'll get you a Robin one. Don't you worry.
Oh, man, that Robin joke, man. That's painful. I was Batman all my childhood.
But still, we've got to look at this now. Himmelsdorf. Next map coming up. On paper, I'd say I prefer the way Synergy play it. I haven't seen them in a long time on it now, obviously, since they've renamed themselves. They've come back into this one. I prefer their game style on that. They're the ones who can undo the likes of Virtus Pro on that map. There's also another stronghold for them. The strategic ability to adapt is phenomenal. I found them very reactive, but Lemming Train aren't bad on it either.
Yeah, I mean, if we remember back to Season 3 finals, in the semi-finals, the only map Synergy actually ended up losing there was on Himmelsdorf, where Lemming Train were actually one tank down. Synergy were pushing up forwards. They're doing their normal 1-2-3 line push up towards those railroads, and at the end of the day, Lemming Train just played absolutely amazingly and managed to beat Synergy there. So on previous results, Lemming Train at the moment are winning, and that's why they got a little bit of a confidence on their face. While Synergy is very, very stark, and I think they have to be a little bit scared. Lemming Train have shown themselves to be a very good team on city maps. Ensk went to them in the previous time we saw this in the first round of today, and they beat them there. So Lemming Train, definitely a little bit of confidence. But you said Synergy. They are such a good team on city maps. They are a team that's based a lot of their skill on city maps. And at the end of the day, you have to be good at city maps to be a top World of Tanks team, because that's where you get your basics. That's where you get your focus fire. That's where you get your blocking. That's where you get your positioning. If you can't get it right on Himmelsdorf, which is the most balanced map, then you're not going to be able to get it right on a map like Mines, which is a little bit more favored towards the north, or Prokhorov was very open. So where obviously... coordination is very important. Yeah,
indeed. And once again, guys at home, I beg you, I plead to you, get voting for who you want to win this game right now. Go to thegrandfinals.com and get your predictions through to us. Give a little tick next to the team you want to see winning for the Polish. Oh, see, I was like trying to do some decent stuff there. There's a cute little kid waving at the camera. That's just ruining it, guys. But still, head on over to the WhatsApp website. Make sure you vote for your favorite teams, because right now we are tied up at all even. See, look, I don't need to say it. They can allow me just going, oh. But make sure you go head over there and make sure you vote for your favorite team, because right now these guys are going at it. If you're a fan of the WGLU, you're having a great time already today. But at the moment, one of these two teams will be going home. Will it be Synergy? Will it be Lemming Train? We can only wait and find out. And Himmelsdorf, one of the most, beautiful maps to look at. And we have a bit of a unique version, as I'm pretty sure you can tell right now. It's getting a little bit chilly in here. It's going to be hard to call. I wouldn't want to call this, because I love the way Synergy play on this map. I love their style. I think they're great on it. But as you mentioned, they've lost to Lemming Train here. It's all very possible. Both teams could turn up and do something great.
And Lemming Train's actually starting from the north, which is the side they beat Synergy from the last time they played this map together. But I think Lemming Train need to make sure that they switch it up. They can't play the same tactics like they have been before. Synergy knows Lemming Train like the back of the hand on this map. In terms of the setups that we're looking at, it's going to be the triple AMX 5100 double IS3 for both teams, and obviously the two T1s, obviously very important on this map, as we do head into our possibly third and final map, Himmelsdorf.
Most certainly, and well, as you mentioned, in the north in blue, it's going to be Lemming Train. In the south in red, it's Synergy, currently tied 1 apiece. And why don't you take us through what these tank choices are, because I'm pretty sure it's mirrored.
Well, we might not have enough time to take through those tank choices because it looks like Synergy is on the roll at the moment. I'll let Lemming Train get a single-second break here. Apwal pushing first, Arclit, Armley all in support, and Stalker and Shanish back in a second support, second row. This is a classic tactic from Virtus Pro so far. It doesn't happen very often, and it doesn't work very often either. Materia's having to reverse as quickly as he can. He doesn't want to get taken down through the slits and houses. Materia's taking the first shot. He could be in trouble.
You certainly could. Povol and Apwal are there, but Arclit's the first round the corner, gets a shell connecting. Nice work from him. Armley now picking up the mantle, goes for the peak, gets the shot through that IS-3 in his hands, is in trouble. That is going low, 408 HP. Lemming Train, they're being caught off guard, just about staying alive. I would not be there if I was him right now. He'd be time to run away, but he gets picked up, taken down. And let's bear in mind, Synergy yet to barely receive any damage, and they're finding more.
And there's such a good play from Synergy there because Materia is just not reacting quick enough. And look at that. Also, Lemming Train have a tank all the way over towards the left side. Butcher's out of place on the hill, but he has got a good positional advantage on Shanish. He could take him out.
Yeah, Shanish is going low. He's going lower, 228. He's going to be down to, ooh, nothing right there. That 5100 has been wiped off the map. So brought back almost all even. Yes, Carmen's down, but he can also lead the team. But Apwal, he's not stopping. He wants more, and he's found more. That's Polomako laying in wait. Niels Pizzoni is there. They tracked Apwal. He backs away just, but he needs to be so careful here. This game is absolutely electric.
But when is Ilian getting back into the fight? The AMX 5100 goes down. Both teams are in the cap. They're going to try and take it that way as well, put the extra dimension of pressure. But where is Ilian?
He needs to get into this fight right now. He's nowhere to be found. Apwal is doing serious damage. Armley, Povol, all piling in. Niels Pizzoni has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And Alien is nowhere to be found. He's so far away. Positive's backing away to clear the flag. And that's all he's finding right now. 35 seconds left. And that base will be captured. Finally, Alien's there. But is it enough?
He has to try and do as much damage as he can. He's got 5 shells left, which is about 1.4k, 1.5k HP. 3 tanks in the cap. That's 15 seconds left. Alien probably will get there back in time. And also got the IS-3 back.
Alive?
Oh, that is the big question. But it's 2 IS-3s, 151. Do they have the reload?
4 seconds left. Alien comes round, gets one down, looks for the second. He sees Apwal, gets the shot, does not take too much damage. He's resetting the clock here. This is what he needed. Alien can do this. He sees Arclit. Oh, he got the shot. Arclit, next target goes down. Alien is doing this for the side, but can Butcher step up to the plate? Another goes down. Povol is the one man who must fall. Alien's low, Butcher's low, and it's not over just yet. He's coming up on reload. He's so close to it, but the time is everything. 25 seconds. Snip has to run and hide, but can Povol turn this one around?
Povol's definitely on reload. He's going to be able to take down Butcher. And Stalker's there. Povol does take down Butcher there. He's going to try and find the AMX 5100, but Stalker, it's all on him. He has to stop the cap. It doesn't matter about the 5100s.
10 seconds left, 9 seconds. This is for Lemming Train to walk away with his Stalker up against Snip. 1v1, 3 seconds left. He got the shot. He reset it. It was just about time. My God, and we do finally see the clock being reset. I think that was just about saved. It's a 3v1 now. Povol is still alive, and he's got 610 HP here. There's 3 players, or I think the minimap is lying to us. 2 players left. Alien, 143 HP. Snip, 81 HP. The clock is ticking. Povol has the weight of Synergy on his shoulders now, and he can still do this.
And Snip has not guessed right. He's on the wrong side of the house. He's on the wrong side of the church, but Ilian is there in support to the left. So if Povol does engage, he will almost certainly get taken out. Ilian got 5 shell, Povol on 4 reload as well, so he should be all good. But Ilian, he's 1 single millimeter of HP bar from getting taken down, but Snip, he could be in trouble, and he's going to get taken down almost certainly. But Ilian, he's in their response.
1v1. Can Alien do this? He's got the first shot. He needs to land the second. Toying with each other. Alien's so low. It's down to... Alien's done it! He's done it for Lemming Train. They're going through. Lemming Train proving exactly what a home crowd can do for a team. Phenomenal play. Absolutely phenomenal play from Lemming Train. Every single shot counted. And my God, did they deserve that.
Unbelievable, Ilian. I was wondering where he was. I was wondering what he was doing. And what he was doing was just clutching the game like an absolute boss. Ilian, the playmaker. Ilian, the absolute victor. Taking Lemming Train through to fight Sim. Throwing Synergy into the waistbang. One of the teams that was supported. One of the teams that was almost certainly going to go through Group A. And they've just been absolutely decimated. Fantastic game.
Brilliant. Brilliant stuff here today, and it's nowhere near over. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Alien on your screen there, just talking to his teammates. That man has just saved his side. Carmen is almost smiling. It's something rare to see, but that means the world to that team. My God, can you believe it? What a moment. 1v1 after all of that.
And against Pavel, this guy was the highest damage dealing player in the WGL EU for 3 seasons in a row, and Elian managed to beat him out and absolutely decimated Carmen, whipping out the crowd. An absolute beast from the side of Lemming Train, and just an amazing game for him. We can look at the damage. Elian doing 2.9k, Butcher in close response with 2.6k, but Pavel, the guy who got decimated at the end, also with a good job with 2.1k from that 5100.
Elian deserves a medal for the way he just played, and Carmen, it's rare to see a happy smile on that man's face, but he looks cheerful, and I can tell why. I love you too, Carmen. But guys, I'm not going to hold you up any longer. Let's get down to Carmen on the stage because I love him so much.
Well, I don't really know how you follow up on that quote there, but the man is here again. Come on, joins me on the stage after what is safe to say. Another nail-biter, straight down to the wire. What an amazing game. In that last map, Synergy went so aggressive. You had to back off, and a Meritorious almost got taken out so early. Had to come straight back down the middle street. How do you get around that? How did you manage the aggression coming out of Synergy?
It was just, we are just calm. Meritorious said, sorry guys, I fucked up, but we still played it. And we nailed it. We have a bit of luck, which we haven't have in the match versus Simp. So, now this shot was higher than it should be. So we won versus Pavel. It's just random generator, but we won. We are happy. We are now in the final of the Group A, and we must win with Simp. We must win. We must show them that they are worse. We are better, and we know that we can do it.
Thank you very much. Come on, get behind your hometown heroes, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Well, we're going to let Old Mate celebrate with his team for a little bit, and I'm sure a lot of you guys here have a reason to do the same. Let's flick over to our experts at the analysis desk to pick apart what is safe to say was a fantastic series. Clutch, take it away.
Thank you, Uber. Lemming Train is not going to be leaving the desks at all.
They're not leaving their booth forever.
They're going to be there forever, and Poland wants them. They want them to continue to win, and that hometown advantage, be it nerves, be it whatever, that was one of the most beautiful shots we've ever seen in that one-on-one matchup. Let's first break down Mines. The teams and what they brought, T32s versus T69s, they had a 5100 on one of the sides for LT. Potomako missed. It seems like we have this curse every time we talk about one of the players. The second game that they play in, they don't really perform that well.
Too much pressure.
A lot of pressure. But in the end, actually,
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
He missed some, but I would say that it more mattered the bad positioning of Butcher. We said something like 5100. It's a responsible thing. You have to be on time, not before, not after. So he was ahead of the time, and he took massive damage, denying his team for the damage he was supposed to do.
And I think the position was wrong. In my opinion, he should have been in the west side of the mines, pushing from the west side.
Or come a bit later.
Yeah, that's good work.
Yeah, exactly. What we were talking about, the 5100s. I get shut down. That's such a huge advantage for the opposite team because it's such a big damage dealer. And we were seeing how crucial those reload times were, not only in Mines, well, not really in Mines because Pusher got pretty much destroyed.
Milliseconds, not seconds.
It was so close with those 5100s. So in game 2 on Cliff, the match of the T69s and the 1390s versus the Pershing, Potomako on the hill was pretty much the big play that happened. That was kind of the redemption for him compared to game 1. How crucial was his position, and was it pretty much the big mistake from Synergy to allow him to have that position?
Well, they couldn't have stopped him because there is a passage he can take unspotted because they controlled like 2/3 of the map, although they lost Butcher. But the key point is Synergy did nothing to position tanks to counter push or to do something active. They were just sitting there and waiting for something to happen. And it happened.
It looked like the Synergy wanted to just sit out the match, camp it, because they had the one victory already.
Yes.
So they just wanted to sit out the map.
Completely passive in that moment after they killed one tank.
Himmelsdorf, matchup. 35100s, 2 IS3s for both teams. We see the hill play coming out from the north, but going down Tank Alley, going down that 7 line was the aggression of Synergy. it became a reset pretty much instantaneously once they saw them cross into that D line. It felt like Lemming Train was falling apart a little bit with how much damage was being done.
Lemming Train likes to climb hill. A lot of time knows that.
It's Lemming Train.
Yeah.
Yes, and Synergy really used it. Like when they were approaching the 8th line, we could already see on stream that they are late. Thanks, mate. We could already see that Meritori is late, that he will die. There is no way to run when they reach those positions. He's pinned between tanks that push the street and the tanks from the windows. But they really played well with remaining 4, and Alien brought the only possible decision. Once you bring a tier 1 in other people's cap, you protect him first, then you reset your cap. And oh boy, how they did it.
They did. And also very smart positioning by moving to the other side of the church when he could see that the T1 was coming from the other way.
That was really crucial.
Timing of Alien was also really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. It's like he had a clock in his head because he had no clue where his other 5100.
But that's part of that gamer sense, really. When you play this game so much, you get a sense of, okay, if there's a timing, if I was in this position on the opposite team, I'd be coming down this alleyway and be coming this way. There's another thing I want to talk about, too, with the hill play, is that some teams start to hesitate sometimes when they see that aggression coming across to their territory. Well, they'll bring all their tanks back down the hill, and they're in a bad position. They still sent one up. Butcher, I believe, was on the top, and he got those shots on Shanish.
Yeah. He redeemed for everything.
He redeemed. Butcher is redeemed. He is redeemed. But I find it to be very, very crucial because that's the decision-making portion that Lemming Train is going to stand out compared to other teams. They said, listen, go, Butcher, go, get up there. And they were able to exploit that position of
Alien,
Shanish.
he caught Shanish in the middle of the film, like with, to be honest, pants down, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah. It was
That even the odds. And that turned the match, that moment.
Well, as we saw, Carmen was incredibly excited to be in the running still. And now it's going to be another rematch, I believe, against Simp.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Blue Boys Captain was
what a
watching.
deja vu.
Yeah, that's two rematches back to back. Blue Boys Captain was with us watching us, and he was commenting a bit on the positioning of that T69 and how the adjustments they were making instead of having that position on the offset. I felt that they didn't want to put it in such a dangerous area, especially with Butcher being caught off guard. Final point I want to make, gentlemen, before we throw it on over to Melly is when you do lose a tank that early on, how devastating is it as a team, and how do you make that adjustment?
It's not that bad with without the tier 8-point rule, but it's still pretty bad. But these teams, they are so good that they can come out from that. They can win 4 versus 5 situations. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I would say it's all about spotting and map control.
Yeah.
They lost their tier 8. They even lost HP on one more guy. But they did gain map control, and that paid off big time. Synergy was just too passive in that moment. They allowed themselves to get locked on one tiny little piece of map, and they were like, okay, we have enough HP and tanks, we're gonna kill them anyway. Well, guess not.
Guess not indeed. Well, Lemming Train continues on the pain train, but they're going to be up against Simp, and if it goes to another Sand River, we could see maybe some more surprises from both these teams, but so far they've been excellent series.
It will be interesting to see, because the LTR can ban only 2 maps. And will they ban the same than they are doing now? Because Blue Boy just saw all the games. I think he wants to play these maps.
Yeah, I think he wants to play these maps as well. All right, what we have to find out is the next match is going to be underway in just a little bit. Let's kick it on over to Melly for a quick update in the social media world.
Thank you very much. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a match. If you guys head over to Twitter and search for the hashtag the Grand Finals, you will see how excited people at home are. Not only here in the audience, it was like the whole was shaking. People in the audience just went mental. It was amazing. And yeah, my heart is still racing, so let's see how this works out. So, of course, I invite you guys at home to take part in our conversation on Twitter, on Facebook, or even maybe join our Twitch chat and keep us company in there. It's really nice. A lot of people are there, a lot of nice topics going on. And yeah, let's see what else we got. People are asking me about challenges. And guys and girls at home, you know me. We, of course, have something for you guys at home. And if you head over to razorzone.com/World of Tanks, you will see that our lovely partner, Razer, has set up a contest for you guys. It's really amazing. So maybe we could take a quick look on my screen to that competition. It's really easy to take part in, and you get amazing stuff like bonus codes. I know you guys at home like bonus codes, so it's really simple. You fill in your Razer ID email and your password, and then you just pick the finalist, like the winner of this amazing tournament. And that's how you can get involved and maybe win some awesome prizes. And of course, we will announce another Twitter challenge, for example, later. But that's pretty much all for now. And we will be back after a quick break. So just enough time to grab something to drink, to grab a snack, and then come back. You don't want to miss any of this action, seriously. See you later.